Hello again, everybody. Isaac Rosenthal here with you one more time. We're going to be a little bit thrown together on the broadcast tonight. No color commentator. We may or may not have a broken headset. So one more shameless reminder, if you have any interest in donating to the Oregon Hockey broadcast, hit us up in any way you can. Facebook, Twitter, email, mail, carrier pigeon, whatever it may be. Let us know how you want to get in touch with us. Any small donation helps, as it looks like we're going to have quite the significant expense in getting our audio back working 100%, and we're also down half of a crew tonight. So Colin's going to be on camera, Dylan will be producing, helping Colin with the camera, and I'm going to be trying to pretend like I know what I'm doing play-by-play all by myself here tonight. Let's start with the recap of last night's game, a 5-2 victory for Utah that was not without its drama. Oregon players felt like, justifiably from my perspective, at least watching the incidents live, like Utah ran the goalie and Jackson Howery a couple times, and then there was the knee-on-knee incident. Chris Campbell connecting, unfortunately, with Josh Dangle. We did see Josh on crutches tonight, so no Dangle for Utah. We are sad to report. We'd love to have him here. And that kneeing incident, whether it was intentional or not, that's always going to rub people the wrong way, led to quite the skirmish at the end of the game. If you left us before we found out all the penalties, though, you might be shocked to hear the only infractions called by the referee, 4 punching penalties. The distinction between punching and fighting, very important, because those penalties carried a DQ. They did not carry a game misconduct. So Joe Hoover will be in tonight for the Ducks, as will Harrison Landers and Darren Toller, all of those guys involved in the incident for Oregon, as well as Caden Otley and Tyler Colger for Utah. So we're going to have another packed house tonight in the penalty boxes, most likely. These teams have they haven't been without their rough patches against each other. We talked a lot last night about that Pac-8 championship game that had over 130 penalty minutes. Oregon, no stranger to the penalty box. Utah plays hard and fast as well. So we're going to have a lot of special teams play tonight, at least from where we're sitting here. And then the game itself. Utah does come in as heavy favorites. I will throw that out there, and it's not just me saying that. Utah, the number 2 team in the West region, they showed us why last night. They're fast, they're strong, they're disciplined. Most importantly, the word that Colin and I kept using last night, they are patient. They wait for their opportunity, and then they pounce on you. They crash the net hard. They make life difficult for the goaltender, and they're going to try and do that very same thing tonight. Utah comes into this game, ready for this statistic, 648 minutes and 20 seconds since the Utes have been trailing. So if Oregon can just get that first goal, whether it's a fluky bounce past Como or whatever it will be, that's going to be a monumental achievement for Oregon. And then it goes to the point where the Ducks are going to just want to keep this close, keep it respectable. And, you know, if you're keeping it close in the third period, you can steal a game. One victory in this series is going to be huge for Oregon. Playing well, continuing to produce the way they did last night is going to be important as well. Oregon at one point did tie the game yesterday at 1-1. Utah, though, led pretty much the rest of the way as the teams take the ice now. And really not much more to say. These teams, they've established they're not big fans of each other. Utah, I think, feels that Oregon plays a little bit chippy, and Oregon would say that statement might be a bit hypocritical. One more note tonight for Oregon. We know one player that will be in the lineup that was not last night. Speaking of the word physical, speaking of the word chippy at times, big number 18, Michael Luke, is back for Oregon tonight, and the numbers on your fight card, at least from what we saw yesterday, are probably going to be 18 and 3 if anything comes to fruition. I will take a quick break and get myself situated. We're going to try and get that camera on warm-ups here, and we show 9:24 left, so getting a late start here on Eugene Standard Time at 7:15, and we're 10 minutes away from a 7 o'clock start. Would you have it any other way? I'll take a quick break. We're going to cut my mic, and I'll be back with the beginning of the game. So I want to correct some earlier information because it seems like we were given some misinformation last night, but we thought everyone involved in that skirmish would be able to play, and it turns out it's quite the opposite, which quite frankly makes a lot of sense given the way that things looked at the end of that game. So we'll get the list of the guys involved here. Give me just a moment to pull those back up. For Oregon, it was Joe Hoover, that's a big loss, and Seth Starr. And for Utah, it's Caden Otley and Tyler Colger. So no Joe Hoover, no Seth Starr, no Caden Otley, no Tyler Colger. Two guys each not in action tonight. And the big loss there, for sure for Oregon, is big number 22, not in action tonight. But they do get Rebecca Luke back from suspension. We'll see how 18 does out there tonight for Oregon, the Ducks' biggest hitter and kind of their enforcer again. We've established the difference between an enforcer and a goon is that when he wears your jersey, he's an enforcer. So $1:04 left on that clock. We're getting very close to puck drop time here, and want to give an early shout out to Matt Coma, the Utes play-by-play broadcaster. I know perhaps a few of you watching wish that he was on the mic tonight and not myself, but Matt's back in Salt Lake watching on a big TV, perhaps enjoying some of those cupcakes from last night, and he'll be keeping shots for us tonight, or at least doing his best to. So he'll be keeping me updated, and I will try and pass along that information to all of you wonderful people. And another thank you to the Utah scorekeeper, Athena Poole, telling us all that. And she's also mentioning that she doesn't see a Bruton, or there we go, maybe a Bertinoli not out there. I'll look for him for Utah, try and see what we can see. We can always see more not on camera. And then, as we mentioned in the opening, Josh Dangle is in crutches, and that is, of course, a very unfortunate sight, as he's an exciting player to watch. And for all the stuff that Colin and I talked last night, we do it because we love this game. We do it because we think it's fun. And, you know, it's not fun when the other team's not good. And Josh over there is one of the best players in this Pac-8 conference. So we're going to take one more quick break while we get everything wrapped up. Again, 648 minutes and 20 seconds since Utah has been trailing. That was the first period of their season opener. So a lot up against the Ducks tonight, and Utah showed us why last night, that they are not all hype. They are a good team for a reason. They practice hard, they study the game, they watch film, they're disciplined, they run good systems, they're patient. You can say all the superlatives you want about them. At the end of the night, though, it doesn't matter. All that matters is what happens over the course of the next 60 minutes of hockey. So Oregon looking to put a blemish on that Utah record. They do have a couple ties, but no losses, and Oregon looking for that big win. It would be their first ever win against Utah, and after last night, the way that game ended, it would feel great. We're going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. No anthem again here in the People's Republic of Eugene, so we are back and ready for puck drop. And Nick Shabara, the goal scorer both times for the Ducks last night, will dig in to take it against Brett Meyer for Utah, and already it's in the Duck zone. They have to go back behind the net with it. Taron Donnelly knocks it back towards Micah Luke. Luke gets the start tonight for the Ducks. Freshest pair of legs defensively for Oregon, and boy, did they have to work hard last night with Utah's patience and Utah's zone time spent. And an interception there from Utah. Chance right away, but stick checked away. Utah keeps it, though, and they'll try to pressure the goaltender Jackson Howery. Howery stood on his head last night, but not enough to make the difference, as he was just bombarded with shots. And again, we'll try and keep you updated on the actual shot count tonight, as Chris Campbell fires that in, a casual shot, forcing Chris Coma to make a save. And here comes Utah again to the neutral zone as Oregon gets a new group out there. A shot through and a save made. Howery 19:08 left. First period, no score. We will work on trying to get Colin Catman involved in the broadcast, but we have what seems to be a dead headset, so he may or may not be joining us tonight. He's on camera right now. And that one gets through across the blue line. Utah back to get it behind the net. Samuel Bodden was giving chase to it. And Bodden still with it. And knocks it back there to Bertinoli. And that one back into the boards, into the netting, and eventually the whistle comes. Cody Dries gets the face-off win for Oregon. That was one area that the Ducks did have a little bit of success last night, was the face-off circle, but they couldn't turn that into sustained offensive possessions. Weird bounce off the boards and happens in Oregon's favor momentarily, but Utah quicker to the puck and they get right back on it. The shot right into the glove of Howry. That's one of the better gloves in the Pac-8 for the Oregon freshman. Jackson, a Eugene native, listed at 5'9", 170. And 5'9" might be a slightly generous measurement for Jackson. Not that I have any room to talk. Standing at all of 5'4" and not even 1/2 inches. Back around to the point. Utah throws it through again, and Howry makes the save. Took a weird bounce back behind him, but no harm, at least in the short term, deflected in front. And now back behind the net. Utah setting up again. Through the circle comes Utah. Oregon gets a stick in the way of it. And Chris Campbell tries to get the clearance, gets it into the neutral zone, and we've got a whistle coming up. Looks like a hand pass or something of that variety. Face-off closer to the Utah zone, but it's still in the neutral zone. 17:49 left, first period. No score between Oregon and Utah. Game 2 between these two teams after a close or a intense physical encounter last night between these two squads. Trevor Schott tried to knock that one down, couldn't. And Bodden chases it for Utah. Falling down are the Utes there, but they managed to collect the puck. They're just so quickly getting to that puck first, and 50-50 pucks. Utah's winning pretty much all of them. Loose in front. Rebound opportunity is there, but is deflected wide, and Utah has to scramble to get back in position. Now they do, and they get the goal there. 17-12 left. Utah's streak of not having trailed, not looking in tremendous jeopardy so far. Not a lot that Howry could have done, and again, it seems like it's going to be one of those cases of he's just going to have a lot of shots to face. We talked about this number, did Colin and I, last night before the game. Is a goaltender, particularly at this level, once you start having to make more than 30 saves or so, it's probably not a good thing. It's obviously better than not making the saves, but doesn't help a lot as Sam Rosenberg flips that in, gloved out of the air by Coma, and it's going to be a face-off in the Utah zone with 16:50 left in this first period, and Utah already leading 1-0. Nick Shabara to dig in for the face-off. Goes back behind the net, handled by Coma. And Michael Luke goes for the big hit, but the puck squirts away, and Utah now into the Duck zone once more. Here's Donnelly with it. Donnelly for Chris Campbell. Jesse Leonard also there for Oregon, but Utah pokes the puck out. Leonard not able to get there first, and Utah takes over. Shabara giving chase but won't get there. And through the neutral zone now, Chris Campbell has to go back to get it. And he just fires it tipped. Looked like it was tipped by the Ducks, but man, one linesman saw it anyway. 16:07 left. First period. Utah with speed moving through the zone. And a big hit thrown there from Trevor's shot. Not the biggest part of Trevor's game, but he's got a lot of size out there and he will throw it around if he has to. Given away now. Trevor's trying to get to it and couldn't handle it cleanly. Had some good space there. Shot made a nifty move, but couldn't keep the puck while he did it. And a little bit of sloppy play from Utah, but they're able to come away from it with the puck. Utah now setting up. Point shot through, and Howry pounces on top of that one. 15:26 left. First period, Oregon down 1-0 to a mighty Utah team, ranked number 2 in the West region, and pushing 700 minutes since they have been trailing. That's going to happen at about the 8-minute mark of this period, unless we get a couple of quick goals from Oregon. Puck in the Utah zone now, but Oregon not able to get any possession of it. And Ducks just trying to keep it in the zone while it's there, but Utah winning the races to those pucks. Knocked down by the Utes, and Donnelly has to go back to get to that one. A lot of pressure put on by Utah, and Oregon will just get the clearance and get a change. Here come the Utes again. Shot blocked there by Donnelly before it got through, and ripped around. Michael Luke's going to go try to get it, and he'll line up the hit there. Utes got rid of the puck first, though, and Luke had to slow down a bit. And now able to get the puck through to the neutral zone. They'll get the clearance the whole length of the ice, does Oregon, and they get a line change with Jesse Leonard chasing the puck. Moving behind the net, Nick Fornelius with it for Utah. And that one up out of play. 14:20 left. First period. Face-off coming up in the neutral zone now. Jake Yale out there for Oregon. And that one going to be icing against Utah. So another face-off in the Utah zone. Yale tries to dig in to impact that one, but Utah steps in and takes it away. Another great goal there. Wow, what a goal. Julian Cronin skates the length of the ice and just flat out beat Jackson Howry there, top corner. And 2-0 Utah leads. 14:09 left, first period, after the great goal from Cronin. So more of the same from Utah. They look maybe even that much sharper than last night, or maybe Oregon a little more flat-footed. 14:07 left in this one, in this period. Michael Luke goes back to get that, but only as far as the blue line, and Utah got there. Now Oregon on the puck, and having to dance around a hit there was Pat Taylor, but in doing so lost possession of the puck. Utah knocks that one down the length of the ice. Icing called. 13:47 left. First period, and a 2-goal lead for the heavily favored Utes. Face-off again taken by Utah. Feels once more like they've had the puck pretty much all game. And more of the same through the neutral zone. Dancing around is David Barnes. Losing a stick on a play there was Utah player, was Barnes actually. Puck trickles into the neutral zone. Oregon able to get to it. Chris Campbell, though, tied up through the neutral zone. Couldn't get it into the Utah zone. And Oregon pressuring Utah in their own zone. And now here come the Utes again. Shot, glove, save, Howry. John Sewell from Bellingham, Washington had the shot there for Utah. Harrison Landers with the puck now for Oregon. Crisp pass out and touch to that one, and it goes right to Coma on the inadvertent, almost inadvertent touch in the neutral zone, but that's going to save an icing and create a face-off in the Utah zone, which is a good thing if you're an Oregon fan. Better than a face-off in the Duck zone. In-depth analysis. Jake Yale gets that face-off win, but Utah got to it, and Trevor Schott with a good puck on net. Their save was made from Coma, but looked treacherous for a moment. Landers gains the red line, throws it in, caught by a Utah player, won't even get through to Coma, and Schott loses that one. Knocked through, here come the Utes again. To those loose pucks first. Every time they go for the shot there, penalty coming up, but no goal for Utah. Shot beat on the play, has to take a trip there with 12 and a half minutes left in this period. So we'll skate 5-on-4. Trevor gets 2 minutes to think. And again, we see Oregon typically play a very aggressive penalty-killing style that might have to change a bit against Utah. Utah passes very well on the power play. They get the perfect shot set up, and then they take it. That one threw off the boards behind the goal. Establishing something again is Utah. Shot through from the blue line, blockered away by Howry.
Oh my God. That's like a significant portion of our reserve.
Once again, as we look up how much a new headset's going to cost, I'll say it one more time. If you'd like to donate to the Oregon Hockey broadcast, let us know in any way you can, and we'll help make it happen. Puck loose in front there. Utah trying to jam it in, and keep your eyes peeled every time there's a coming together in front of Howry, as Oregon's going to be watching closely after a couple of incidences last night that they felt, at least live, that it looked like Howry got run a little bit. None of that so far tonight, and already down 2. Oregon not able to afford to take penalties. Utah just does keep it in the zone there, and that one had a very dangerous deflection after Howry made the save. Nearly one of those that you make the save and it goes in anyway, but he's able to pounce on it. 1:13 left on Trevor Schott's tripping penalty with 11:43 left in this opening period. Utah again, disciplined, patient, organized on the power play. Oregon trying to weather the storm. Cycling it now are the Utes. Back up, Coons at the point, and shot rang off the post there. Ripped through by Brett Meyer. Utes with the puck again, and Howry's got to look to find it and ends up dropping in his glove one more time. Look at that, 11:11 left on the clock. All ones. 2-0 though on the board in favor of Utah with 41 seconds left on the penalty to shot. Here go the Utes again, rather. Making that same pass that they've been making from the point to the man at the top of the circle. Seamus Bertinoli and Coons there now. Or Seamus Bertinoli, rather. And David Barnes, that passing combination now. Bodden with the puck now back behind the net for Utah. Back towards Bodden. Zach Foss trying to get to that first to clear. Can't do it. Rebounds again, and Utah collects this one. Ducks still not able to get the legitimate clearance on this PK. Darren Toller now finally does get it all the way out of the zone, and here's a shorthanded chance for Jake Yale. Yale trying to beat his man and then throws it on goal backhanded. Shorthanded shot's got to feel good for Jake there. And eventually, though, you know Utah is just going to reset and get it on goal, but now the Ducks out of the box. Taron Donnelly with the pass for Shot. Shot tips it forward and will now go for a line change. Under 10 minutes left in this first period. Utah leads 2-0. Here come the Utes again. Through the face-off circle behind the net, wrapping all the way around. And now Michael Luke has to go to get that one for Oregon. Luke with the big check. Another glove save made from Howry, seeing the puck well again. 9:32 left. We're getting very, very close to 700 minutes for Utah without trailing in a hockey game. Says a lot about the discipline this team has and how organized they are. Messenger, an update from Matt at the 10-minute mark of the game. Shots 18-4 for Utah. And that's a lot of work that Jackson's going to have for him if those numbers continue. Oregon would like to make Chris Coma make more than 12 saves in this game. He's made 4 so far, and only 1 or 2 of those have been on real solid shots. Puck behind the net again. Donnelly gets there. And Michael Luke gets to that one, knocks it down, but it will be icing. 8:45 left. First period. Another face-off in the Duck zone, and they'll get that win and then go for a line change. Just so hard to play against a team as organized as Utah is. Oregon really has to make good on every great chance they get as Jake Yale rips a shot there, saved Coma. And that was one of the better Duck looks of the game so far. Yale's really had 2 of the better Duck chances. And that one ends up in the netting behind Chris Coma's goal. Can be a challenge, really, for a goalie. And when you're in a situation that Coma's in, we're used to talking about Jackson Howry or Danny Cockrell being in that position. But when you don't face that many shots in a game, you worry about getting cold and then letting in a soft goal out of nowhere. Here's Yale with it again, then fires it up to Shot. Shot trying to shield the puck and does so. Foss, though, knocked off of it. And Utah collects again. Brett Meyer with it. Meyer up ice and goes behind the net. Trevor Shot will get there for Oregon, and has the puck come away from him. Shot with no stick, just trying to be physical now, and that's really all you can do with no stick out there is Trevor's going to have to get a new twig. Trevor running into everything. And now back up to the point. D-to-D pass from Utah. Save made. Howry on a great look there. Ripped through by Sam Wilson for Utah. Jesse Leonard going to try and win a race to this puck. Does get it to Stankovic going last year's numbers now. Assistant coach for the Ducks now, that's Nick Shabara wearing number 9 this time. And Michael Luke on the puck for Oregon. Luke plays it off the top of the glass, almost came right for us. One more reminder, and it really has to be said now, boys, you break the equipment, you buy it. Donnelly to that one, rips it around for Luke. And Luke with a great pass to Chris Campbell, but it was left at Campbell's feet. Now Campbell fires it. Oregon will go for a change with 6:42 left, so we've passed that 700-minute mark that we talked about for Utah. And it's just almost a bizarrely impressive number. And we're not just saying that to be nice to Utah. I mean, that's, working on months now since Utah has been trailing. Pat Taylor had a chance in the slot, couldn't handle it cleanly, and then the puck squirts by Toller and is going to go down all the way the length of the ice, and Utah looks like they might just get there first. Wrapping it around again are the Utes. Trying to disrupt that is Taylor again, and that'll go the way of Harrison Landers. With Trevor Schott's broken stick still behind Howry's goal. Got to avoid that when you're passing, and Ducks moving forward with it now. Toller, but it's deflected by a Ute stick, and Harrison Landers has to go behind his own goal with it. Landers fires it off the boards, tries to get the pass up to Yale and does. Yale finds Zach Foss, who just dumps it in. Oregon will give chase on an onside play, and strange bounces behind the net there. Coons gets there for Utah. And now here come the Utes with a 2-on-1. Big chance for Utah. They'll wait for the shot, they score. Pretty methodical for Utah so far. As they take the 3-0 lead. Looked like Jackson Barlocker scoring there. Howry again on pace to make a boatload of saves, but it doesn't matter when you're facing a bigger boatload of shots. And that's been the story of the series so far for Oregon. Meanwhile, the Ducks trying to manufacture some offense of their own as Utah ices the puck once more. 5:03 left, first period. Ripped around the back of the Utes goal, and Utah on the puck again. That sound you hear might be a second headset trying its hardest to work. We'll see if we can get Colin with us for the third, or the second. 4:42 left in this one. And then we'll draw it up and do it all again 2 more times. Hit thrown by Campbell, but little off the puck. Jesse Leonard can't win that one. And here come the Utes again. Dancing around his bottom. Darren Toller now trying to get that one for Oregon. Shabara wraparound attempt from Utah, and Howry able to make the save. Utah did beat Jackson on a wraparound once last night, and then they tried it many, many times the rest of the way. It's a feeling play, as Colin is like to say, the first time you make that, and then if you're successful, you're going to try it again a bunch more times. Landers to Toller for the Oregon, but too far out in front of Darren, and Utah looks like they're going to win that puck again. Puck stuck to the boards, and now Utah comes out with it. Toller trying to be physical on defense. And again, Oregon just trying their best to get to this puck and get it out of the zone. Ducks have looked like they've been killing a penalty really all night. Toller has looked impressive defensively really throughout this series. Very much improved player from last year, Darren Toller. And he looked promising last year. Off the boards, Ducks trying to clear. They have used that board play to be able to pass the puck and get it around Utah defenders, but didn't work there, and Utah again pressuring. Cody Dries battling with Tyler Pendle, and now wrapping behind the net. To the point now, top of the circle, shot hit the side netting there. Looked like a goal for just a moment. And again, just comes back to the Utah D-man, and Oregon, it's a chance to reset. They had, or change rather, they had to do so quickly. And now they'll get the rest of the unit out there. Zach Foss intercepts, rebound is there, and somewhere it's underneath Coma, but Oregon just gets these one or two little breaks, and then Utah will attack for the next several moments, and that one beat Howry standing. 4-0 through one period of play, still with about 2.5 minutes left in that period. Utah's not messing around tonight. So 2:26 left, first period, and Utah is just having their way with this game tonight. Not much else to be said. Oregon not able to manufacture any offense to speak of so far. Here's Jesse Leonard trying to move through the zone. And again, we have everyone filling in on new duties tonight, trying to bring you the game even though we're short-staffed. Here's Utah, giveaway in front, great pass in front. Didn't get through to a shot, and that pass going for Jesse Leonard's stick not there, but it was deflected by Utah, so wouldn't have been an icing, and Oregon gets a line change. Utah gains the zone, and now will set up one more time. $1:23 left in this period. Toller on the puck. Delayed penalty coming up against Utah as Howry gets to the bench, and the whistle blows. Elbowing the call. And serving that penalty for Utah, Noah Beery. Another excellent, excellent name on this Utah squad. Got a Beery, a Meanie, a Dangle. All sorts of fun ones. So Oregon has to get back in this. If they've got any prayer in this one, you think they have to score on this power play or at least get consistent offense and do something with it. They did score on a power play last night, did the Ducks. One of their 2 goals came from Nick Shabara on a great pass from Jesse Leonard on the power play. 51 seconds left in this period. Oregon's going to have a bit of a carryover power play when the second period begins. Maybe a chance to spend all the intermission drawing up some kind of a power play opportunity. And another penalty coming up here. And that one's going to go against Oregon, so forget about that carryover power play. We'll see what the infraction was. Didn't spot it myself live. That certainly doesn't mean it didn't happen, but you know I'll have an opinion about it nonetheless. Awaiting the call. Roughing the call. Trevor shot the guilty party. Refs trying to do a lot to keep control of this one after the way that we ended last night. And 14 seconds left in the period. So much for that power play goal for Oregon. 4-on-4, a lot of space out there. Some very skilled skaters on both of these teams. Utah fires it through, doesn't get there, and Pat Taylor shovels it back. That'll do it for the first period. Utah out of the gates in a hurry with a 4-0 lead through 20 minutes of play. I'll put the mic down, take a quick break, try and get some hydration, and we will be back with you for the second period of play. Don't you go anywhere. Stepping in just for a quick update here at the intermission. Oregon trailing Utah 4-0 in this one. The Utes just steamrolling through everything. And the shot clock 24-7 in favor of Utah after 20 minutes, which if you're looking for something to be positive about as an Oregon fan, ratio-wise, percentage-wise, that's better than it was through 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, it was 18-4. So Utah is slowing down a little bit in the second half of that first period, but we're really grasping at straws here, unfortunately, and it just is that much more evidence how solid a program Utah is. But Oregon, a good team to be even in this position, and Joe Hoover's loss is a big one for Oregon. Puts a lot more pressure on guys like Michael Luke, on guys like Taron Donnelly. Luke, by the way, doing a very good job tonight, looking like a top-line defenseman, staying out of the box, throwing his weight around, but doing so within the confines of the rules of the game. And that's really that's what we've got so far. So 6 minutes left before the beginning of the second period. I'll take another quick break. Utah leads 4-0. They lead on shots 24-7. Give us a woo. Woo! And you've heard a second voice. We've figured out a temporary band-aid of a solution here. So, Colin, you had a great view of that as the cameraman in that period. What did you see?
Well, apparently I didn't do too good on the camera, but
we still love you, though. It's okay.
I apologize, everybody, but they threw me into the fire. Well, from what I can tell, Utah is just steamrolling. They're playing the same game. The Ducks came out a little flat. Utah capitalized. Looking through the lens of a camera, you can't really pay attention to the game rather than just pay attention to the puck. So can't offer up my insight too much, but Utah is just giving more of the same that they did last night. Looked really good. Scoreboard tells the same story.
Yeah, absolutely, and we thank you for filling in on that duty, Colin. And Colin, it's quite the sight looking at you broadcasting this game right now. You've got a handheld mic, and then using headsets just for getting me and me only in your ear. You're not even getting yourself in your ear, are you?
No, actually, I am actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, it's an improvement over last night.
Yeah,
it looks halfway to ridiculous, but
yeah.
Well, we're underway here. Second period, we will have no clock on the broadcast for the remainder of the game as Dylan is now producing and on camera, so you might miss a little bit on face-offs when he gets scoreboards adjusted. And immediately there, if you blinked, you'd miss it already. Utah with another shot. 19:43 left in the second period. Just a couple of seconds in, and Utah's already put another shot on Jackson Howry. Another face-off there, back to the point again. Howry forced to make another save. Kept in by Utah, not cleared. Howry, another save, goes wide. Landers tries to get there, but Bertinoli first to the puck for Utah. 4-on-4 skating for another 13 seconds, and then it's going to be an abbreviated power play for Utah. Chris Campbell with it for the Ducks. Campbell now through the circle and trying to center it, almost went off a Utah skate on an unfortunate bounce, but speaking of fortunate bounces there, right out of the box and right onto the puck was Noah Beery. Ducks now killing the penalty, get a clearance, but it's only as far as the red line, and Utah's right there, knocked straight down by Jake Yale and cleared. Trevor Schott sitting for another 37 seconds with teammate Seth Starr in the box with him. Starr serving a suspension from that fight yesterday. And again, we apologize for the misinformation. We thought there would be no suspensions because we were told that in as many words last night, but looks like we didn't get the great info there.
I wasn't familiar with the disqualification resulting in a suspension, so I'd never even heard of a disqualification in hockey before either, so it makes sense that we didn't know better, but glad that the Utah fans filled us in on that one.
Even scorekeeping, Utah knows what they're doing. Very deep program there. Matt Coma is keeping us filled in on shots. Athena's letting us know about the rules and making sure that we look at least a little bit like we know what we're talking about. As Oregon tries to get that one to Schott, we're back to 5-on-5. Schott will get to it in the vicinity of it first, but can't keep himself upright, and Utah moving through the neutral zone. Leonard knocks it in. Oregon will give chase, but mostly a clearance. Jesse Leonard's been all over the place. That one thrown the length of the ice. And, well, if I criticize the hybrid icing rule in one direction, I'll criticize it in the other. Is Utah was by far winning the race to that puck, but icing whistle just the same. See, I can pretend to be neutral every once in a while. I can be neutral every once in a while. And the officials are going to right their wrong at least halfway and move this face-off to the neutral zone. Or not. All the way into the Duck zone.
I think veteran official Kasparowski had some say in that one.
And Alice going to fill in the Utah bench.
someone from Utah can explain the trench coats that the coaches are wearing, I'd really appreciate that.
It really adds,
interesting fashion choice.
Adds to the evil empire look.
It
for
really
Utah.
does.
Bit like Iceland from D2. Iceland lost though, so we will hope for more familiarity. Another shot on Howry, has to make another save and then pounce on it. 17:01 left.
More of the same from yesterday. Jackson's been worked pretty hard through the first couple periods here. And Coma's really hasn't had much action at all.
No, having to keep himself entertained a little bit over there is Chris Coma. That can be a challenge for a goaltender, but Chris has lived up to it. I think as a goaltender, as much as getting cold can be a challenge, you'd rather be in Coma's shoes than Howry's any day in this kind of game.
Well, as much as we complimented Coma yesterday for the game he played, Utah's defense, I don't think we gave enough credit to. That's a very good defensive unit that they throw out there. Good on the offensive side, very good on the defensive side as well. Good
top to bottom from Utah. That stems from coaching, that stems from practice, that stems from kids growing up in hockey hotbeds. You look down this Utah roster, a lot of guys from Utah, Minnesota, places like that, Sweden on the roster, some other internationals on the roster, and they eat, breathe, sleep hockey, and that's going to contribute to just those.
Got New Hampshire on there too.
Those little things, the instincts for the game, the intuition for the game starts when you play hockey at 3 years old, 4 years old. Not to say the Ducks don't have their fair share of guys that have played hockey their entire lives, but a little bit different for the Utes. Connor McBride in the box down there forgetting to turn off the music. It's kind of nice atmosphere here. McBride, former Duck, one of the more prolific scorers in Duck history. Had some injury issues toward the end of his career, ended up cutting that career short, but still very much a supporter of Duck hockey, and he's here filling in on scoreboard duty tonight. Zach Foss with a long pass there towards Trevor's shot. Trevor with a nice move, he shoots, but high! Oregon now trying to collect and make something out of that in the long run. So not a bad pass though from Foss to set that up for Trevor, but a great move from Schott to create the chance, and then he blew the shot high.
Schott definitely wants to have that one back, just airmailed on him.
Comes in from Utah, blockered away, Howry. Jake Yale rips it off the boards and can't be cleared. Utah again with a shot, and again the save from Jackson.
Can't stress this enough. If you're the Ducks defense, you cannot let Utah get into the slot, because we saw it yesterday. 9 times out of 10, they're going to capitalize. They're very good with their shots and their accuracy. You let them in the slot just a tiny bit, they're going to get it off. And Jackson's not going to sit back there and make the save every single time if the Utah offense is getting a good look.
He'll make the save that time though. Throws the glove out there, and I'm really looking forward to see what that glove does over the next 4 years. This is what he looks like as a freshman.
We said it last night. You can make all the saves you want, but there's just some shots that you cannot save.
Yeah.
And Utah's, they're pretty good at getting those shots.
Look no further than that goal that Cronin scored earlier in this one.
Got a quick whistle. Thing wasn't even close to being under the pads.
Howry will take it though. Oregon will take that all day.
They'll take it, yep.
And Chris Campbell trying to get out in front of that one. Hard into the boards goes a Utah player, and the Ducks trying to center it for Shabara. That play worked for him a couple times yesterday. Scooby having to get a little physical there now. But Utah comes away and takes the puck. Offside on the play as Utah goes sliding into the boards. Penalty comes up against Oregon.
sure Coach Leahy wants to get that line going with Chris Campbell, Jesse Leonard, and Nick Shabara. That's the first line. Got the captain and assistant captains on that line. You know, that's the first line you're throwing out there. And you know, they've looked good. They've done their job, but you know, you'd like to see a couple goals, especially in a game like this. You know, the Ducks offense is going to rely heavily on Trevor Schott and Nick Shabara. This is when Coach Leahy wants the other guys to step up as well.
Yeah, and you know, it's the depth that's really the problem for Oregon in the games against the Utahs of the world. The top line, you know, they can compete if they play well, and then Utah ices 4 of them.
Oh yeah, you can't even tell the difference, at least we can't, between Utah's first and fourth.
Yeah. Another deflection up, back behind the netting. Into the netting, behind the goal, rather. 13:57 left.
It's funny, we talked about this earlier. We saw Dangle on crutches, and you know, you'd think, being one of their better players, that the Utah offense would kind of stumble a little bit, but definitely not. Utah offense hasn't missed a beat.
And brief touch there from Patrick Taylor. Hat-trick Patrick Taylor. Had a great performance at the Pac-8 tournament last year, including a great goal on a slap shot. One of the lasting memories I have of that tournament. Didn't really need to be a slap shot. It was almost a break and had no one in front of him and just clapped it from the right circle.
Sometimes you just want to let one go. Ooh. Just like that.
And there it is. Utah makes it 5-0. Shabara out of the box. And Dylan gonna jump down from his camera duties to producer duties.
Not much else you can say besides just excellent puck movement by the Utes on the power play, just moving it around, ended up finding the soft ice. Howery had no chance.
Face off again, won by Utah. We'll get the camera back rolling as soon as we can here. Still got 4-0 on the score. I believe that's 5. Is that not 5?
It's 5, but we also have a rookie scorekeeper down there.
Yes, we do, and probably getting it on the score sheet first, and now we'll try to reach over and get it on the board eventually. These are but minor details. It's the story of this game, pretty thoroughly developed so far. But another great save from Howery, and again, a little bit of pressure on Oregon after, or on Howery after.
There's 5.
There's 5 on our board, at least.
You know, you can pretty much guarantee that this rink will be short-staffed with the Ducks football being in town. That happened the last time.
That will happen.
Yeah. The entire town is out at Autzen right now.
Football normally would be what we would lean on in one of these games. Can't even.
Let's not go there. You're just adding fuel to the fire.
If I don't say it, someone's going to say it.
True.
It was said last night. It's probably been said already tonight. Rocketed behind the boards. Luke tries to get to it. Donnelly now trying to get to it. A touch for Luke. And Luke to Jesse Leonard. Leonard, who's looked good in Oregon for these games, been really one of the pleasant surprises for the Ducks as Chris Campbell goes to chase that one down.
Had a great pass last night.
And trying to get it for Shabara, they couldn't get it to him cleanly, and now here's a chance for Utah. Oregon trying to give support, and Luke there. Good defense from Michael.
Good defense. Was looking for the big hit, though.
He was
lining it up.
Target was locking there. Couldn't quite get it locked on. He's good for one big hit a game at least, and a couple of penalties at least, but he's behaving himself very well tonight. through 29 minutes anyway.
Well,
a lot of hockey left.
We thought that last night. It was a pretty clean game, minus the little scuffle down there with Jesse Leonard and all. And then all it takes is one little knee-on-knee hit, and everything kind of fell off the tracks.
Well, one knee-on-knee hit, some contact with the goaltender, and probably more so the knee-on-knee hit if we're being reasonable with ourselves. And again, we do continue to just wish Josh Dangle the best in recovery and hope to see him back the next time we watch a Utah hockey broadcast. Fortunately, it's not always that simple with knee injuries.
That's how the game goes.
Shot there, well wide from the point by Barlocker. Another opportunity for Barlocker, sticked away before it got through to Howry. Shabara gets onto that one, tries to flip it up to Taylor. Pat Taylor gets to it, but had to stop, and Oregon takes themselves offside.
That's a tough one. Pat Taylor trying to avoid the hit there. Juked, left the puck behind him, and I believe it was Cody Dries. I don't really know who it was on the Oregon offense, but someone just took it off sides. And
number 5 down there.
That's a tough one.
There we go, Brad.
And Utah has finally scored their 5th goal.
All right, I'm on camera.
We've got it on every scoreboard now. Linesman came over to McBride to let him know. Zach Foss hit hard into the boards. Shot trying to get to that one, but too many Utah players there. That one goes the length of the ice. Toller was in pursuit of it, icing waved off. Darren goes down, and that's going to draw a penalty. Touch from Utah. Whistle goes, tripping the call. 9:46 left. Second period, 5-0 the score. Oregon to the power play again, and we'll see if this one lasts longer than 30 seconds.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that call. I thought Darren Toller fell on his own, and that's what David Barnes was saying to the ref too. So I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. We've seen it plenty of times this year.
That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Working it around to the Ducks now. Michael Luke flips it through, looking for a deflection. Luke just does keep that one onside. Has his shot deflected, though it goes into the corner. Kept onside again by the Ducks. Now Utah with the clearance, and here's Utah taking a page out of Oregon's book with the aggressive penalty kill. And we're going to have a face-off in the Oregon zone on the power play, which never got put up on the board. Now we get it up there.
I understand playing safe and everything, but on that possession in the zone, there was no Ducks player in front of the net, no net presence at all spread around the ice. You cannot have that on the power play.
And at the halfway point of the game, we'll get those shots as the phone buzzes with an update from Matt in Salt Lake. 12-0 this period, 36-7 overall. Not going to win a lot of hockey games without getting shots halfway through a period. There's a shot for Oregon, though, from Taron Donnelly. And it goes all the way the length of the ice. Howry to touch it with 1:20 left on the penalty to Barnes for tripping Darren Toller. Goes back around the boards again. Trevor Schott trying to get to it. Chris Campbell at the point. Campbell still with it, thought about a couple of different moves and then tried to flip it back to Schott, but it gets back into the neutral zone. Oregon has to get back onside, and Schott having to do a lot of work. Schott still in possession. Still with it is Trevor Schott. And finally knocked off the puck is Trevor, and Utah gets a clear. And the opportunity for the clear, there it comes. And chasing down the puck there for Utah was Nick Fornelius, making life difficult for Taron Donnelly. Cleared again, 38 seconds left on the penalty to Barnes. Jesse Leonard behind his own net. Tried to find Jake Yale, pass wasn't there cleanly. And shot through from 100 feet by Utah, save made by Howry though, 7:56 left. behind the net. Dries with it. Dries to Yale, back to Dries. Dries trying to jam it home. Lost the puck with him. It's loose somewhere there. And Dries trying to get it back to Harrison Landers. Ludus Kunz with it. Taken offside, Oregon has to get back, and we're back to even strength. Puck literally just stopped on the faceoff dot. Chris Coma plays it. Coma good with his stick. Always nice to have a goalie that can distribute as well as he has. Kept onside just barely, and Utah will take a slap shot that goes wide of the cage. 13 minutes gone in this period. 5-0 the score. Maybe a little better from the Ducks in this period. Maybe Utah taking the foot off the gas a little bit already with a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, I think it's more of the latter.
Little bit of this, little bit of that, but I think that maybe a little bit more of the second one. Oregon, though, not able to get any goals, any shots, or more than one or two shots in this period anyway. Shabara with it now. Shabara, one-time shot there. 9-95 contributing for Oregon.
Well, you see Coach Leahy's in full offense mode. He put the Ducks' two biggest weapons on one line, and probably will see that the rest of the game.
Pat Taylor with the puck. Taylor
and
goes
that's
down, and
a call that should be made but hasn't been made.
well, you know,
Pack 8 refs.
We criticized them earlier for a penalty that went Oregon's way. Certainly would be a fair criticism to say there should have been a trip called there.
Well, it was more of a hook. The stick blade was tucked in right, and I believe it was Darren. Well, who was? Oh yeah, it was Patrick Taylor's chest, and pulled him down. But ref was right there, and he shook his head immediately.
Not sure what more he was looking for.
He saw it, and he shook his head at it, so it's not like he can say he didn't see it.
And the company line is that we don't have the angle that the referees do, so maybe it was the right call, and we have another whistle. Thinking another penalty here. Cody Dries looks guilty.
You know, I know that every ref does get criticism, but just looking at this guy down there, he seems a little too young to be reffing these games. Doesn't look as confident as, let's say, a Kasparovsky would look if he was the head ref. Just a little timid out there. In a Pac-8 game, probably against two of the best teams in the Pac-8, you shouldn't be employing a younger guy out there officiating.
Especially with the way the game ended last night. It's not like these two teams ended things amicably last night. We have offsetting roughings here.
You need to have, I think, a respected and more established official like a Kasparovsky who is lining tonight. You know, last night he had good control of the game, made the right decision in running that clock out.
Yeah.
You know, in a game like this, you'd like to have a more senior ref rather than a young guy.
You'd like to have a four-man crew also. We've criticized the three-man officiating system every chance we've gotten this year and haven't really seen too much in the way of four-man reffing so far. We did see it every once in a while last year. We've seen it in the I-5 Cup every once in a while. There's a series where you need to have a veteran officiating crew. That one almost trickled through. 5:09 left in the period. Great pass there. There's little like throwaway passes for Utah, and they're right there on the stick. Barnes on the puck now for the Utes. Tried to shoot it through, blocked by the Ducks before it got through to Howry. Bertinoli taking it behind the net. And Bertinoli trying to center for Barnes. Toller got there to disrupt. Knocked out of the air by Campbell, and he plays it for Toller. Toller gains the red line and dumps. Oregon changes. And Utah now with the break. Big opportunity for Bertinoli. Takes a hard shot. Save Howry. And we have a penalty coming up, or did the ref lose sight of the puck? Because it was loose right in front of Howry. He would have gobbled it up if he needed to, but
I believe he did gobble it up. But it goes, Michael Luke will get a slash.
And looks like we've got a Utah player penalized as well, slashing against the Ducks, and Make-A-Wish, an unsportsmanlike call, goes against David Barnes. Have to think some magic words were uttered.
Well, some refs have a pretty quick hook on the tee, but I didn't really see much jawing going on between the ref and David Barnes, but this is not an unfamiliar sight tonight with coincidentals or throwing two guys in the box rather than one. Nor was it last night.
No, nor is it ever at the Lane County Ice Center. Penalty box operators get a workout here. And we'll see, there's a lot of discussion, so...
I'm sure the Utah coaches wouldn't be happy with an unsportsmanlike call if the score was different, because this, like we've said plenty of times, this is a very disciplined team. So whether that's mentioned in a chalk talk or sometime this week, I wouldn't be surprised, just given how this team conducts itself.
And here we go again. Trevor Schott with it. We skate 4-on-4. Shot, great move to shield the puck, and a great shot there too. I think that would have gone in, but the glove of Coma makes that just a hypothetical. Four minutes left in this period. Forgetting we don't have any kind of clock up there with all of us trying to do 2 or 3 jobs here. Trickling back through, and Yale plays it back for Leonard. 11 seconds left on the first penalties. And then the rest, Luke and Barnes are going to be out 2 minutes and a whistle, it looks like. Trickles away there, and Howry trying to distribute, does get the pass up to Taylor, but Taylor loses the puck. Now to Jake Yale. Yale fires it horizontally and knocked down there. Taylor trying to center it for Yale. Toller with the puck. Yale couldn't knock it down. Has to go and chase it. And up, out of play. Face-off coming up with 3:08 left in the period. Exchange of pucks. Got to give the linesman something to do.
Barely.
And face-off taken by Utah. Ripped around off the boards again. Knocked down by Toller. Disappears against the near side boards. Zach Foss is knocked down hard. And that one, Oregon tries to wrap around. Coma going to cover. Our roster says that David Barnes is from Orem, Utah, but you guys would know better if the place of birth affecting that penalty, perhaps. Keeping in line with reputation. Always a fun time in the comment section. We'd like to keep it lively. As was said last night, we like to have fun here. Just onside, the Ducks keep it. Trevor Schott in the corner. Back for Foss. Foss shot Shabara out there for Oregon. And Utah now with the 3-on-2 if they hurry. Zach Foss trying to prevent that, and that one goes wide of the cage. 2:20 left in the period. Big hit there. Big contact anyway. I think Foss avoided most of it.
It's funny because I felt like he just stood stationary and the Utah player just flat out missed him.
Zach's not going to like me for bringing it up again, but there has been a term thrown around in the Ducks locker room of getting fossed, more so last year than this year. But Zach's doing good at avoiding the contact this year, keeping his nose clean and keeping themselves out of trouble. And it's been a good look offensively for the Ducks this year too. Very capable on that top line now with Shabara and Trevor Schott. Not easy to play with two guys as good as that.
Well, Coach Leahy's just putting all of his eggs in one basket. That's the big three, I would say, on offense for the Ducks. And they're all on the same line. Kind of similar to what the Penguins and Blackhawks do in crunch time when Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves or Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby are on the same line. You know, that's usually what you do, but throughout the game, you like to spread the wealth a little bit, get everyone active on all lines with some good players.
Harrison Landers gets to that one first. There would have been no icing, so it was imperative that he did. And Jesse Leonard with the pass back to the neutral zone, collected by Tyler Pendle. Pendle, one of the candidates for flow of the season for Pac 8. Now with no Trevor McCarty in the league anymore, that's a wide open race. McCarty had some majestic flow. It's a shame, Colin, that you weren't with this program when he was on the team. 40 seconds left in the period. I'd like to think the broadcast flow crown is uncontested at this point as well. 26 seconds left in the period.
Giving yourself a little...
Just gotta pat myself on the back every once in a while.
Well, me and Dylan moved on from the flow, and you picked it up, so we'll take it.
17 seconds left in this one. The offsettings are over.
Michael Luke with a little gesture there to Barnes.
Yeah, Luke...
I'm going to go out and say here, I think in this third period, things might get a little more interesting. We might see the man in his office.
If Luke finds a dance partner, I think he's going to tango tonight. 17 seconds left in this period. Michael Luke surveying his options and taking notes. Donnelly hit hard against the boards. Puck glues there, and that'll do it for the second period of play. Utah adds only one in the second period, but they still lead by a country mile at 5-0. Quick thoughts on what Oregon can do in the third period, Colin?
But it just hasn't looked like the same Oregon team that came out last night to play. You know, at this point, 5-0 against a good Utah team. It's going to be tough to come back from that. What you can do, though, is play for your pride and play for the next game and, you know, just end this series on a good note. All you can do is just go into the week and finish the weekend with some positive momentum. You know, this Utah team is very good, but, you know, this is also not the last time we'll see them. So, you know, we're still a little undecided on whether it's the Ducks playing better or Utah letting off the gas a little bit, but you know, it's been a good game overall for the Ducks. The first period is very flat. They kind of tightened it up here in the second period, but again, you just don't know what the factors were because it was just more back and forth in the second period rather than Utah jumping out to that quick lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a Utah player who was kind of helped back to the locker room.
Looked like it was a collarbone.
It looked like it was Noah Beery. We'll try to have to keep an eye on who plays in the third period for Utah. But we're going to take a quick break in the interim with Utah leading 5-0. You're watching Oregon Hockey on YouTube. And we're back. 4:33 left on that clock before we get to the third period of play. We'll give you another shot update from Matt in the Salt Lake. 43-14 through 40 minutes of play. I'll give you one guess which team has 43, as Utah has a 5-0 lead in this game. We talked about it, Colin, a little bit. Goals for the third period for Oregon?
Well, they just got to finish strong, so meaning they need to win the period. There's not much you can do. If you're the Ducks when you're down 0-5 going into the third, this Utah team definitely won't give up a lead like that. They're too good, too organized. So all they got to do is just try and put some points on the board, at least own the momentum of the period. Just go into the weekend, finish the weekend and go into the week with some positive momentum, knowing that you hung around with the Utes just for a little bit, because we hadn't seen him yet. There was a lot of hype around him. Well, they're the real deal. So just try and finish this game off on a high note. Just going into the week looking forward, with some good momentum.
Yeah, and maybe win a period. It says what we've kept sort of talking about for Oregon is try to get to that point, and with Utah perhaps taking the foot off the accelerator a little bit, a chance for Oregon, get the first goal of the period, get the last goal of the period, just find some positive to take away here. There's not a lot to look at, though, in a game that you're down 5-0 after 40 minutes.
Especially against a team like Utah. They're a good team. They're a disciplined team, very well organized. Like we said, it's going to be tough to it's going to be really tough to come back from a 0-5 deficit. So just finish the period with some good momentum, make good plays, just play solid overall.
2.5 minutes left in this break. We're always keeping it entertaining in the comments. And we really do want to thank all of our Utah viewers. Our numbers looking great for these games. And you guys are obviously a big part of that. And just another testament to what the program means over there. It's one of the struggles that Oregon has, and one of the biggest frustrations for the Ducks is you wear Oregon hockey gear around campus and people think it's some kind of custom sweatshirt that you got made, or don't even know that there is an Oregon hockey team. And then, Utah, they're big boys on campus. So, just different realities for these two squads. But I think Oregon, when they play their best game, they're not too far away. Utah, they're going to be the favorites anytime these teams play, at least for the foreseeable future. But the depth is the challenge. Oregon's top line can compete. Their second line can kind of compete. And from there on, it just, the bottom six for Utah is better than the bottom six for Oregon.
Well, and it's also two completely different styles. The Ducks play aggressive. They're not as deep as Utah, and when you run into a team like Utah who's very well organized and also just kills you with speed, you kind of have to change your style if you're the Ducks. You can't play aggressive or that speed will just bite you. You'll get caught out of position. We've seen it a few times already. So the Ducks have had to change up their style, which they're not used to doing. They're naturally just a very aggressive team, and we haven't seen that on the penalty kill. Not aggressive. Power play, they don't even have people in front of the net. They're really trying to hang back. So all you can really do if you're Oregon going forward, next time you play this team, you have to weather the storm, box up the speed as best you can. And hockey's a weird game. Like we said last night, plenty of times Portland State was up on this team 2-0 in the second game. Did they deserve that score? Absolutely not. The Ducks were dominating that period, but
that worked itself out. Oregon did get the win in that game. Dominant second period, a strong third.
But what you can do against a team like Utah is weather the storm and just put pucks on net. And Coma's not invincible. He let in a goal last night, so a couple goals. So as long as you just keep throwing pucks on net, get guys to the net, good things will happen. And that's how you, moving forward, playing, next time the Ducks play Utah, that's what you can do. But that doesn't take anything away from Utah. They're a great team. We can see why there was a lot of hype surrounding this team. And it's not just hype, it's the truth. We've seen it. you know, they are just a very deep team and just very well coached team.
And of note, Jackson Howery's wearing a beanie right now. It looks like we'll see a little bit of Ben Green in the third period. Give Ben a chance to get some game action against this big, talented Utah team, because if Oregon plays in the Pac-8, plays in the Pac-8 tournament, runs into the buzzsaw that is Utah again, and Howery happens to be hurt, or Howery happens to be sick, or whatever thing can happen, you want Ben Green to have this experience too. So it's an interesting move from Coach Leahy. And Green's he's none too shabby either. He has not played anything close to a Utah this year, but really neither had Jackson Howery, and Howery impressed despite giving up 5 goals in each game. Howery's looked good, so opportunity for him to watch the rest of the game and maybe get a better look at some of the Utah shots without having to face them, and an opportunity for Ben Green back there to get some big game action against the strong Utah team.
That's a good move by Coach Leahy, just trying to get Ben Green going a little bit. He's only got 1 game under his belt. Didn't see much action in that game. This is good for him to see a period of this Utah team. Just a kind of like eye opener. Like this is the class of the Pac-8. This is the competition.
Well, there's the first lesson right there for Ben Green. Took 23 seconds in 1 shot, and Utah has made it 6-0.
Well, Ben Green just got caught on that initial move and just froze.
But these are good minutes for Green, even if it's not in a Utah game in the Pac-8s. You want to get Ben Green to the point where that Oregon managed to take a penalty here. Donnelly got something, and he's not happy. Has something
it's a slash.
Something to say to the boards after, but these minutes against Utah are going to be valuable for Ben Green if he has to get minutes against a Washington, against a Cal, against anybody. If you can stop these Utah shots, you're going to do just fine against the rest of the league. You see the official call there? Was it a slash?
I believe it was a slash, yeah. Either that or a hook. But Donnelly got beat on the play, and that's why I think it might have been either a hook or a slash, because we've seen it a couple times this year when the Ducks defensemen get beat. They kind of just throw their sticks out there, and it's gotten called a couple times.
And that shot is blocked. It's loose in front somewhere. Green trying to knock it out in front. Utah taking it behind the net. Fornelius with it. Fornelius back to the point. Another shot from Utah, deflected away. There's a good save from Green. Now he resets. And back up to the D-man again for Utah. More strong horizontal passes, and another good save there from Ben Green.
One thing Green's going to learn pretty quickly is that he has to be quick. And, against Portland State, those 2 goals came because he was caught a little flat-footed on a couple of those wraparounds. Against a team like Utah, you'll get lit up if you're caught flat-footed. So he's going to learn really quick here, and that's good for him, that he has to be quick with his instincts, with his moves, everything.
And we talked about Utah taking the foot off the accelerator a little bit. There is a very big difference between taking the foot off the accelerator and stopping altogether. And you're not going to see that latter thing happen in hockey. It would almost be more disrespectful to Oregon if you just totally laid down. And Utah's going to keep cycling. They're going to keep shooting. They're going to keep doing the things that they do well. And it's going to be a big test for this Oregon defense and for Ben Green. Another shot through and another save from Green after a good pass. And
the second quick whistle there by the ref this game.
Maybe comes back to perceived inexperience from the referee.
Absolutely, because if you've done a lot of ACHA games, you know the speed. Just to give that situation a couple seconds before you do blow your whistle. Rather than if you do youth games or high school games where the call can be made pretty quickly. In an ACHA game, you kind of got to sort things out first in your mind before you just instinctively blow the whistle like that. We didn't say that once about Kasparowski last night where he had a quick whistle.
We said some other things, but not that one.
Well, I think he repped a pretty good game last night. I think he did all the right things, especially when it got out of control there. I think it's a team effort on the officiating front as well. So I think all those refs did a very good job. Tonight you see a couple younger refs out there, and Kasparowski's had to come to the aid of them a couple times already. So I get it. There's a football game in town. Probably not many refs are available. But you just, especially against Utah, you'd like to see more veteran officiating.
Donnelly out of the box, and immediately another penalty called. This time it's Nick Shabara for tripping.
I didn't see it, but not much argument by Nick, so I assume he got caught.
Face off there, and
Thanks, Dylan.
shot through again. It's loose. Utah trying to cycle. Now back to the blue line. Coach Spoon's one-time shot doesn't get through, and Oregon gets a clearance. Linesman in agreement. There will be no ice, so Coma out to touch.
Ducks are on a penalty kill. Simple as that. There shouldn't even be a thought.
Did not register, but you're very right. Basic hockey rules there.
As a linesman, you don't have many jobs. So when you are,
that one will be an ice.
And nice.
Goes the other way. How are the goldfish treating you, Colin?
Probably the best purchase I've made in a long time.
Yeah? Solid
Absolutely.
purchase?
I haven't had goldfish in a while. I don't know what I've been missing.
Always put a solid product out there. Do goldfish. Very consistent.
And no, goldfish isn't a sponsor. So, but
No. On that note, though, sponsorship opportunities available.
I'll take goldfish every broadcast. Jeez. We can get that going. Carissa, you're going to watch this later. Try and get that in the works.
Good stick-on-stick defense there on the PK. One-time shot is wide. And now the clearance from Oregon, not all the way through. Coons gets to it. Another one-timer, another save made there. Rosenberg throwing his weight around a little bit.
I don't think Sammy's been out there. I haven't seen it very much at all out in this game.
.45 left in this game.
You've already seen the in-game adjustment made by Ben Green. He's been looking really quick since that first goal where he was caught flat-footed almost.
Yeah, and that first goal was really just unfair for Ben.
He bit a little too hard on the first move and then just got caught flat-footed. He was already down his butterfly, and there's not much you're gonna do there's not much you can do when you're stuck in your butterfly and you see a quick offensive player just go right around you. You can throw your stick out there, but 9 times out of 10 that won't do anything.
So we're back to full strength. We'll see how long that one lasts. Chris Campbell shovels it down the length of the ice. Oregon trying to give chase, but nothing doing. Icing called. 15-15 left. Six nothing the score. It has been all Utah.
I'd mentioned this earlier, but I don't know if you were listening. I haven't seen much of Sam Rosenberg in this game.
We've seen him a little bit, but not too much out there.
I wasn't sure if he was injured or not.
Jesse Leonard trying to avoid some checks. Puck only goes as far as the Utah blue line, and now the Utes collect again.
Ducks have gone back to their normal lines as well. Campbell, Leonard, and Shabara back on the same line together.
Utah moving through, trying to get it on. Backhand shot there from Barnes, and he was just throwing it in the general direction of the goal. Bertinoli dancing around some guys trying to center it. Barnes was there again to knock it in, but couldn't get to it cleanly. Cody Dries on the puck out there. Shabara and Leonard as well. And Leonard tries to beat a man, but again goes only as far as the Utah defense back there. Some nice moves from Barnes, but Green took the puck away. That was nice from Ben.
Yeah, interesting seeing Cody Dries on defense there. Not normally is he there. But when Joe Hoover is suspended and you're short on defense, you kind of got to do what you got to do there.
And is that Sammy down there?
No, he's not on the ice.
Yeah. Trevor Schott on the puck now for the Ducks. Schott's had a couple of good moments in this game. Looked as close to scoring as anybody else has for Oregon. The big missed opportunity on that breakaway, or not quite a breakaway. He danced around a few guys and then put the shot high and wide. Jake Yale tries to knock that puck away. And another pretty quick whistle there. 13:31 left.
Well, I think Trevor Schott has answered the call. He had to be relied on heavy in these two games, and not much action from him yesterday, but he's done almost everything he could today to change that. He's had a couple good scoring opportunities. Como was there with some great saves, but
there's a big hit thrown by Michael Luke,
and we've been waiting for that one.
Yeah. And update from Matt. Ben Green has already faced 16 shots. Not great.
I'm not gonna discredit Coma there, but at 16, really? It's a little hard to believe. But if he's keeping track, we'll go with it.
Some of them have been kind of one after another.
If that is the count, that's insane. 16 through
not even 8 minutes.
Yeah.
7 minutes, 15 seconds. And that's going to put...
Some teams just get 16 in a game.
Yeah. Not mention the record for shots on goal in a game for Utah is 79. That was against Washington a couple years back. And we're not really broaching that territory yet, but if we continue on this pace, we're going to get there. Shot with it now for the Ducks. Rips it through from the blue line, gloved Coma. 12:09 left. Jake Yale for the faceoff for Oregon. Looks like it's Bertinoli taking it for Utah. And Utah's Barnes going to win the race to that one. It's the pass to the slot, but Jesse Leonard there to take it away. And Leonard making a bit of progress up ice, and
bad change for the Ducks. Ooh. Close to too many men.
Yeah, they had to really be careful not to give up a too many men penalty there. Utah looked like they were going to end up with a breakaway out of that, so I think as scary as that was for Oregon, could have looked a lot worse.
In the pros, you'll see good defensemen like Drew Doughty or Mike Green or some guys like that. They'll just throw the puck towards the bench when they see a change, hoping that it'll hit a player and they'll get a call a lot. So, Utah, I'm sure they've tried that a couple of times. It looked like they did there too.
Speaking of a call, there's another one coming up against Oregon. Looks like a Duck just got a stick sort of tangled up in Utah's legs, and that's going to draw the penalty, and then Jake Yale is sent flying, and that is going to cause a lot of A lot of bodies to come together. Yale was lifted off his feet there. We'll see if that's going to end up giving a Utah penalty also. Looks like there is a Ute skating toward the box.
Well, if this is happening with 11 minutes left in the third, the refs better be prepared to really take a handle over this game, because it's only going to get worse from here. The score being what it is.
And it'll be Barnes for Utah sitting along with Yale for Oregon.
Well, there should be more Oregon players. You can't just go up and start fighting people. You know, I can understand. I've done it before, but you know, if you're the ref, in fairness to both sides here, that there should be more people in the box for Oregon, because it was basically just the entire line surrounded Barnes, and you know, it probably goes back to the younger officials.
Yeah.
Just throwing one in there.
Well, and we may be going to get another one. He is approaching the Oregon bench.
Well, you know, you just can't you can't throw punches and get away with it, you know, and that's just a bad precedent to send, especially with 11 minutes left. If you're not going to put anyone in the box, you're just sealing your own fate. Because I wouldn't be surprised if we see something just like that, or maybe even more, you know, a little later in this period.
And
they might be talking to the coaches, telling them, you know, to just get their players in line.
Jesse Leonard, I think, is going to sit down for Oregon. Along with Seth Starr and Joe Hoover working the Oregon penalty box tonight. So we'll see. We begin to go on fight watch after that's really our first major incident of the game. It's looked, you know, pretty clean tonight, and I think the fact that this game has been kind of more done with as far as the score than from an earlier point. Another penalty and a hit there. I didn't see the hit, but Utah player down. Nick Shabara skating to the box. You see what happened?
Well, the call's interference, so if you're going to make that call, that means that you hit a guy when he didn't have the puck, or no, boarding. So must have just been a pretty hard and illegal hit on the boards. You know, and you just don't want to see the wheels fall off like this for Oregon as well. When you're taking penalties like that, it's just undisciplined, and you know, it just kind of signals that, you know, you're not really playing the game how it should be played.
And Coons passes D-to-D passes for Utah. Now they'll switch positions. And another whistle. Net may be knocked a little off the moorings. Face-off won there by Utah. Now they will get organized again on the power play. Crowded penalty box there for Oregon. Two guys working it and three boys taking penalties. That was through in front, and there's a clear for Oregon the length of the ice.
Well, if Coach Leahy wanted to give Ben Green some minutes here and some action, Ben Green's going to get a lot of action on this 5-on-3.
Oh, he's beaten stick side there.
Not much he can do there. You could have thrown Jackson Howery in the net, and there was just a couple bodies in front of Green, and he couldn't see the puck.
And it's stuck by him, sticker blocker side. 10:17 left in this period. So Utah has made it an odd 7.
When is the national tournament for the ACHA?
Gotta be mid-February, around there.
Oh, I'd like to see Florida Gulf Coast versus Utah. That'd be a really nice matchup to see.
I think both of those fan bases would like that as well.
Oh, I know. I have a couple friends on the Florida Gulf Coast team. gonna have to give them a call, see what they know about Utah.
You've got some game film for him.
I do.
As Utah takes the puck offside.
And I will be more than happy to give them the link to these two games. Once upon a time, I thought about going to play for Florida Gulf Coast. Excellent program they have there.
Not just a basketball school.
Definitely not. Well, they had that one run. Haven't heard much from them since.
One run, and then their applications exploded. Sports will do that to you.
Absolutely.
Ducks get a half clearance. Utah, though, across the blue line. To the circle is Bertinelli. Now around the net is Bertinelli, still with it. Chris Campbell tries to tap that away. Just passed around him, did the Utes. Utes moving the puck again, so patient with the extra man. As Utah one-time shot fanned on there. Would have been a tough ask for Green. And that one whistle goes. Green has it underneath him with a 9:12 left in the game. 7-0 for Utah. Oregon just trying to get on the score sheet. And not the penalty column. They're there plenty of times tonight. Utah wins the faceoff again. Utah gets it to the slot again, and Shabara out of the box, trying to get the clearance for Oregon. Yale knocks that one down, touches forward, but Utah collects it back in their own zone. Big hit thrown, Pat Taylor. It's offside, so the Ducks have to get back on. Gives Utah a chance to gather the puck. 8:43 left in the game. Matt Coma always with the Information Nationals this year in Westchester, Pennsylvania in late March. And Utah did play Florida Gulf Coast last year. A 4-3 win for Florida Gulf Coast. Backhand opportunity there for Utah. Went asking. Utes now to the point again. Back around the net, trying to get to it was Cronin. Coons with the shot in from the right in front of the Duck bench, and the offsettings are over and done with as Green makes another save. Ducks again get onto the puck now. Chris Campbell. One of the better opportunities of the game for the Ducks was there. Shot thrown by Trevor Schott, and the cage is off its moorings.
Well, we said it last night. Utah just has a heck of a back check. That 3-on-1 quickly turned into a 3-on-3 because those Utah forwards were just skating their butts off back.
Oregon's next game will be in Pullman, Washington on November 13th. Games 3 and 4 against Washington State on the year. Oregon swept the Cougars 4-3 and 5-2 to begin this season, but it's a much improved Ducks team from that point. But Washington State also typically has more guys available to them at home than they do on the road, so I'm sure it'll be a very different game from a lot of reasons. Unfortunately, we will not be up there in Pullman with the team, but we will be back with you November 20th and 21st, some non-conference action with Western Washington in town. And there's been some games against the Western Washington Vikings over the year that have been pretty interesting hockey. Western Washington, I believe a D3 team, but a really good one. And that's a lot of, there's some familiarity with the teams. They haven't played, I don't believe, in a few years, but some of the older guys on each team probably remember the last games. Another hit there thrown by the Ducks. That'll get the fans excited. We'll thank our crew one more time. Dylan Lee running camera and production tonight. I am Isaac Rosenthal, and the other voice you've heard is Colin Catman. 7:02 left in this one. Utes again, setting up at the point. One-time shot there, good one, good look from Barnes. And here is Sam Rosenberg on the puck. Making some nice moves was Rosenberg and ends up firing the shot wide. Rosenberg out there with Pat Taylor and Jake Yale. Another rebound for Utah, another shot for Utah. Goes wide. Utes going for the nifty goal there and taken by the Ducks. Pat Taylor to Sam Rosenberg, and Rosenberg got tangled up with the Ute and gonna draw a penalty. I think that one, see who that goes against. Could probably have made a call against either player there. I think this one's going against Utah.
Well, it's funny that you see Kasparowski talking to the head ref. Not normally do you see linesmen talking to the ref, giving him advice on a penalty.
And the gesture that the referee made, he kind of kicked his foot out there and making the argument that David Barnes took Sammy out with his leg.
You know, for the sake of the Utah fans, just to get a quick update on Florida Gulf Coast, it'd be another good matchup. I'm seeing scores here like 18-1, 18-2, 22-0.
22-0.
So that whole 600-minute run that Utah has, you know, this is another good offensive team against the defending national champions. You know, if they end up meeting up again, that'd be cool to watch, because
yeah,
you see that Gulf Coast hasn't really let up either with those scores. They have taken a couple losses.
Here's Trevor Schott beating around a couple guys. Now behind the net goes Schott. Jesse Leonard shoots it. Coma's down. The puck is loose and shot up and over the goal from Oregon. And Coma's net knocked off its moorings. That was a 5-minute major given to Barnes. Is that a different call than tripping? Don't know.
Maybe clipping. If you're going to stick your leg out, that's a clip.
So there we go. The clip is a major. And Duck power play would have to be quite good to make this a game. But chance to maybe put one, maybe two up here and just kind of get a moral victory late third period. Green had to put the paddle down there. Now up to Campbell, but it was lost. Schott lost the puck. Utah with another clear. 63-5 overall, the shot count so far.
Wow. Ducks have only had 5 shots on net.
That would be maybe 63-15. Excuse me. Whew. 5 would look pretty bad at this point.
Let's see. Yeah.
Ducks now on the puck, still on that major penalty to Barnes, but clipping. Ducks dumping it in, chasing on the power play. Michael Luke and Curtis Coons there. And now the clearance from Utah. Cody Dries with it, cross ice pass toward Leonard, now back to Shabara, touches it for Dries, and Utah takes over. Short-handed rush for Utah here. They'd like to add a shorty, they haven't done that yet. in this series. And that one put up over the goal.
Not normally to see a backhand airmailed like that.
Some discussion between the officials of perhaps where we'll put the face-off. Comes back to the neutral zone. Won by Utah, and some legs and sticks tangled up there. Green touches it back for Donnelly. And Donnelly to Shot. Shot now fires one into the glove of Coma with 2:20 left on the power play, 3:24 left in the game. Shabara now. Back to the point. Ripped through and wide. Jesse Leonard. And Leonard plays it off the boards. It'll come back to Donnelly. Donnelly to Shabara. Now Shot. Trevor's shot caroms off the back of the boards. Jesse Leonard there. Another touch for Shabara. Leonard trying to get to it, but Utah stronger and faster to the puck. They'll just carry it out of the zone. And Trevor Shot now behind his own goal. 2:39 left in a minute and a half on the Duck power play. Utah has looked strong, killing off this major. Big hit, though, thrown there from Utah's number 5, Sam Wilson. 2:18 left in the game, a minute 12 left on the power play, and another opportunity shorthanded for Utah. Trying to beat Green, and oh, what a move there, but he forgot about the shot, did Brett Meyer. And now it's Nick Shabara. Shabara one-on-one. That one save made Coma. Back for Shot. Shot trying to get it to Shabara, and Nick couldn't find the puck. 1:51 left in the game. 44 seconds left on the power play. Jake Yale has it go off the skates of a Utah player.
I'm getting some information from my Gulf Coast friend. Apparently it was a come-from-behind victory for Gulf Coast. Utah had the lead in that game. But I'm almost certain Utah will have another shot at them this year. This team looks pretty good. I didn't see what they looked like last year, but regardless, it looks like a very good team nonetheless.
No, it's a strong, deep Utah team.
Well, and a motivated team too. Now that I found out it was a come-from-behind victory for Gulf Coast, that just leaves a sour taste in the mouths of Utah. They're probably coming to this season with a chip on their shoulder, and I mean, wow, 600 over. It's got to be close to 700.
Oh, it's over 700
it's over
at this point, I believe.
So you can see that they're coming into this season with a chip on their shoulder, just with a different focus and attitude.
You know what? I'm not sure it is. I think my math entirely off. 6:48:20 going in, not some large number of minutes. I'm not sure. That math is just too big numbers for us here. Yeah, over 700 at this point. Wasn't the first time I made the claim, but got another.
Is that thing stuck on the post? I don't see where it is. Yeah, that's you don't see that often. Tucked it right in there.
Dylan had a great
Top
view of that
shelf.
goal. Dylan's clapping for that one. And 8-0 the score with 50 seconds left in this one. Unfortunately for Oregon, all over with the crying, and that's been the case for better part of 60 minutes. Chris Campbell on the puck now for the Ducks. Oregon just trying to get one. One would feel pretty good. Utah would like to keep the shutout. Trevor Schott with it. Schott backs it for Shabaras. Those two are out there together again. Harrison Landers throws it through, and could have been a deflected goal there, but it went wide of the cage. Schott trying to jam it in. Puck's wide with 7 seconds left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that'll do it. Utah gets the 2-game sweep, 5-2 and 8-0, and these two teams will hope to see each other again in the Pac-8 playoffs, perhaps another chance in the Pac-8 title game. We saw Utah come in and dominate both of these two games. We sort of expected that Utah was going to look very strong, and they were as good as advertised. 600, 700 plus minutes without trailing, and you've seen why over 120 minutes in these two games.
They fit the bill. They're as good as advertised. A very good team, very well coached team. Goaltending's very good. Defense is good. Overall, team's just very solid. The Ducks put up a good effort the first game. Kind of got caught flat-footed early in this one and couldn't rebound from it. But just a great series overall. You know, there's a lot of positives to take from the Ducks. You know, I don't know, given the scores of some games that Utah's had, if this is a disappointment for them if they didn't score enough. But you know, from what we saw at least, it's a very good team, and you know, the Ducks will have as good a chance as anybody to see them again in the Pac-8 playoffs. You know, they have the game tape. You know, they got to see him for 2 games, so they did lose both, but that doesn't mean that you can't take positives out of them. They hung around that first game. You know, they battled, but again, you know, they fell behind a little early. The key was yesterday that I said they had to jump on them early to avoid losing like this. Well, they didn't jump on them early. Instead, they got jumped early, and they just couldn't rebound from it.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for us. We hope to see you at our next broadcast. And for the Utah fans, we'll hope to see you at Pac-8s, whether in person or at the on our broadcast or Utah's once again. So thanks, everybody, the Utah fans as well, for listening, and our Oregon fans as well. You know we love you, all the Oregon parents and everybody else. So thank you so much for listening. One more time, for Dylan Lee and Colin Catman, my name is Isaac Rosenthal. Thanks for watching, and have a pleasant tomorrow.